Party people, what's going on? We're back. This is Dear World Christian not midweek, first of the week. It's the first of the week edition. We're going to do it just a live, looking at and continuing to unpack the aftermath of the Supreme Court decision to upend affirmative action. And I stand by it again, still, that I believe that was the right thing for them to do. It is the right thing to do because it's not equal weights and measures. It's not giving justice equally and measuring it out in at least an attempt to be equal and such like that. So I believe that it's the right thing to do. One of the problems that I've noticed, however, is that many people don't actually know what the Supreme Court decision was even about. They don't know the actions and the situations that came about almost 5 years before in order to bring this to this day. And what happens is they just say reckless and ignorant things that show that you don't even know what you're talking about. Sure, affirmative action is a thing. I don't think you really know what it even is. And yes, the Supreme Court ruled against Harvard. I don't think you know what they ruled against and what they actually said and what were the situations that brought it about. You don't know that. And I have two examples here today that I really believe will make my case that it's good to take the time to learn and ask questions and read and do all that stuff before we start diving into the fray. I've said this before, especially in relation to dealing with critical race theory and such of that nature. It's perfectly okay to get all the facts first. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not being you're not being insensitive. You're not being uncaring, unloving, unkind. Any of those things. You just want to know what happened before you start responding in a way that could be wrong, in a way that could be carnal or fleshly, or actually be worse than what was actually done that you're upset about. So by asking questions, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't believe a lot of people that are upset about the affirmative action ruling actually have taken the time to unpack what was it all about and what was the actual decision in the first place. And I've said it before, hey, look, I like a good meme, you know what I'm saying? I'm a meme guy too, but memeology is the worst place to get your theology from and to get your political understanding from. Sure, if you understand the situation, you want to make a meme or make fun of it, I think that's perfectly fine. If you don't understand the situation and you're getting your understanding from memes, I think that's a bad look. I think also that the only people that are more responsible to kind of know what's going on besides memeologists are politicians. Politicians should really understand situations well before they get out there and do their own memes, or politicians' version of memes is tweet out something on Twitter. If you don't know what has happened, if you don't know what's going on, it's much better for your constituents, it's much better for the United States, populace as a whole. Let's just say it's better for the world. Just shut up. Don't say anything if you don't know what's going on, especially if you're a lawmaker. And I have an example here today that will kind of show you, yeah, our lawmakers don't know what they're talking about. Ah, all right. What is Q talking about here? She says, "Who wants justice when I can have my way?" There we go. That's it. Brian Boyd says, "The collectivist wisdom of the," I think you're saying of the black folk. And we're gonna look at a meme here today it just shows like you you don't know what you're talking about. You're picking this up from the Breakfast Club. You're picking this up from The View or from a talking head on Fox News or whatever. You don't actually know what they're saying, and you don't know what was actually decided upon, and you're being reckless. And I'm going to bring this tweet in. I'm sorry, this meme in from a friend of mine in high school. I have no idea where this came from. Take a second. If they don't want our scholars, then don't send them our athletes. The end. So my question to you Is that what the Supreme Court decision was about? That they don't want Black students? This was a Black person that wrote it. So I'm assuming that they mean, when they say our, they mean Black students. So do you really believe? Let's just ask the question. Do you really believe that Harvard, an extremely liberal university, doesn't want Black students? Is that what you want me to believe? Is that what you want me to run with? Like, oh, they don't want Black students. Is that what you want me to believe? Really? What would make you believe that an extremely liberal university would not want Black students? What would make you believe that? I'll wait. Tonight's beverage of choice is iced coffee. There's no reason to believe that. There's no reason. Because, first of all, the case was not about that. But second of all, do you really want me to believe that in 2023, an entire, you might as well say city, because I mean, Harvard is not a small institution at all, an entire city doesn't want Black people there? Is that what you want me to believe? But the funnier thing is that the case was because they wanted too many Black people. They wanted Black people at the expense of other people groups. So again, if you're not going to take the time to study, research, and do a little bit, a cursory glance, I'm sure there is Supreme Court decision against affirmative action for dummies. You could have read just the Cliff Notes, the Cleveland Notes, and got ready for this meme and made this meme make sense. But even more than that, watch this. Then don't send them our athletes. So the only thing that this person believes that Black students, again, I'm assuming they mean Black people because it was a Black person that posted it, Black people can contribute is athletics. So hurt them in their athletics by not sending your students there. Okay, not a problem. Because I want to go back to that first, I really shouldn't have left it. The first sentence or the first clause, scholars. Are you trying to tell me that you believe that Harvard looked at students that are well prepared to be Harvard students and said, nah, we don't want them because they're too Black? Is that what you really want me to believe? Everything else is the same. They got the test scores, they got the academic prowess, their educational resume is on point, their community service and all that extracurricular stuff is top notch. But they looked at him and said, you Black, your name is Leroy, you got kinky hair, that you're a whole fool if you believe that. And again, we're talking about a liberal university. We're not talking about some, I don't even know if there's any conservative, right-leaning university, right-wing universities that you could even lean on or point to. But there's no way you really want me to believe that that's what you think Harvard was doing, or that the case was even about. Again, take the time to research what the actual case is about. I like a good meme. I'm telling you already, I love memes. Memes are hilarious. But don't put up a meme that you don't mean. And this right here is clearly a meme that this person didn't mean this. There's no way they believe this. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that they believe this. All right. Now, let me also give you another example of why, if you don't understand the situation, just be quiet, particularly if you are a politician. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite and welcome AOC to the stage today. If SCOTUS was serious about their ludicrous color blindness claims, they would have abolished legacy admissions, aka affirmative action for the privileged. 70% of Harvard's legacy applicants are white. SCOTUS didn't touch that, which would have impacted them and their patrons. What is she talking about? What is this woman, a whole grown woman, talking about? Now, she did use the word ludicrous. I want to give her credit for that, high value word right there. But what is she talking about? let's start with the most obvious problem. Harvard is a college. Are we expecting the government now to determine how schools are supposed to do admissions? Oh, I'm sorry. That's what affirmative action was. Oh, my bad. So they actually are giving them the ability to make decisions without the government lording over them. But let's not bog AOC down with facts and things of that nature. Look at this part right here. So she wants legacy admissions. And if you're not familiar with legacy admissions, that's just the process of if your father or mother or grandparent or or aunts or uncles, whatever, were a student at the school, you get preferential treatment and sometimes a discount to attend the school as a legacy student. And so that's why matter of fact, my alma mater. Um, my daughters, if they decide to go to Spelman because I went to Morehouse and Spelman is an all girls institution, they would be able to be legacy Spelmanites because their dad is a Morehouse man. So they would be able to get preferential treatment and, of course, slight discount in tuition. Do you think AOC is upset about that? Because guess what? I'm pretty sure that legacy students at Morehouse and Spelman are probably 98% all Black. Do you think she has a problem with that? I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, that's probably more likely the case. Yes, we do have other students of other nationalities, but the likelihood is that we're talking about a high percentage of legacy students at Morehouse and Spelman and even Clark Atlanta University are going to be of the high melanin content. Is AOC going to be upset about that? I just want to know. Or is it only because it's open season on those who are of the less melanin, and therefore because you can pick on white folk and just be, have no problem with it, you can say the most reckless things and not get caught on the carpet? Maybe that's what she's trying to do. I don't know. So she wants the government, because it's a bad thing that 70% of Harvard's legacy applicants are white. So that doesn't mean that they actually get in, by the way. It just means that they're applicants. Because you could still be a bump on a log. And because your dad or your granddad went to Harvard, that does not mean that you're going to be a Harvard man or a Harvard woman. If you're a bump on a log, you don't have any grades. It's just not going to happen like that. I mean, at least I'm going to give them that credit, that at least they want the higher echelon, the creme de la creme, if you will, of students. So does she really believe that just because 70% of Harvard graduates' children apply or legacy family members apply that they all get in? Does she really believe that? But then keep in mind also the problem with the affirmative action, or what the affirmative action ruling decided, was that Harvard was being unfair toward other people groups. So it wasn't they were being preferential to whites, and it was that they were being too preferential to Blacks at the expense of other people groups. Is she going to make some kind of noise about that? Because keep in mind that the argument was Asians, and really Asians and Blacks. If you really want to boil it down, they throw in Hispanics and they throw in whites. But the argument was because Harvard was saying that Black students could get in. They were getting more Black students in than they were getting in Asian students, and therein was the part of the problem. And that's what got everybody up in a kerfuffle. So really throwing whites in here is for what? Why did she do that? There's no good reason. There is no good reason for it, except the fact that it's flame bait. So when you hear people, again, commenting on this and making it a white-Black issue, it's really not. It's really not. It's an equal weights and measures issue, because if this was flipped on its head, everybody would have a fit and everybody would understand that there's a problem. If the law said that you could exclude Black people and you had to include Hispanics, or you had to include Asian people at the expense of another people group, everybody would fully understand that. AOC can understand that. She knows that. She just knows that her constituents are not going to hold her feet to the fire and actually make her man up or woman up to this situation and actually address it properly and deal with it properly. She knows that's not going to happen. All right. Yeah, when did the Supreme Court start taking athletes? I have no idea. Yeah, whole fool. A whole fool. All right, what we got here? My friend said, finally, some sensible drinking on your part. The prayers of the righteous avail much. Absolutely. Absolutely. If I build them a new library, that means 30% are right. 30%, aka affirmative actions for privilege. 70% of Harvard's legacy applicants are white. So that means 30% are not white. What's the breakdown also of the United States population? Because you can't have an equal distribution if more black, if there's more white people as a people group than there are blacks, Asians, Latinos, fill in the blank. It doesn't make sense. You can't have 100 applicants that are white and 100 applicants that are black, because that's skewed, if you will, the population. So you can't expect that. So if you do have that, I mean, it is what it is, but you can't shoot for 100% on each, because you don't have that. That's not the demographics of America. Man, if you build them a new library, okay. Well, I guess if you build them a new library, it's possible that you will get your legacy will continue even with a bump on the log. I don't think that works like that, but anything could happen. So I'm not mad if it did. But what do y'all think? I mean, this is becoming kind of endemic. You see this a lot whenever a case happens. You know, I think it was on Fox News. They had several talking heads from the left discussing this issue, from The View and Al Sharpton, just tons of people. And they were saying a lot of things that really make you think, you don't know what's going on in this case. You have no, and I really think this is literally the embodiment of what I've seen so far as relates to this case. You don't actually know what it's about. You really don't. You're just talking. If somebody put a mic in your face, somebody put a camera on you, and you're just talking, or you felt inclined to make a meme, and you're just saying things. You don't actually know what the case was about. And that's unfortunate, because there's some good opportunities there to discuss and to talk and to vet out some things amongst people. Because keep in mind, again, this was a black person that posted this meme, and I don't think that person was a believer in Christ. So there's still great opportunities to talk about the gospel, even in the midst of discussing this wild topic. You can still talk about the gospel and bring the gospel to bear in this situation. Let's see what Q said. Q, what are you talking about? It's amazing how quickly Asian people became white. I absolutely. A few years ago, they were part of the BIPOC. Good point. Yeah, I have no idea how we got here so quickly, and how Asian people, or Asian folk, or people of Asian descent, whatever, became a pariah. Like, how did that happen so quickly? But I mean, it's all theater. It's all theater. However you want it to pan out, as long as it works in this agenda, or this, according to this propaganda, we're gonna let it roll. So this week, Asians are white people. In 2 weeks, they will be people of color again. I don't even understand how that works. I never understood it. This is crazy. But that was it. I just want to get that off, just to look at those and hopefully shed a little light. Hopefully you all are engaging with coworkers and family members and friends about this, and causing them to think, and talking to them about what it is that they're saying, what it is that they're interpreting, how they are interpreting situations. Because please keep in mind, just because you can comprehend words on a page, that does not mean that you understand legal documents. And I know I'm the first one to admit, I am not a legal expert by any means. However, I realize that I don't understand something, so I'm willing to get advice and insight from others. And I think that's something that we should do, and not to say, oh, they just said affirmative action is done away with. Oh, they're going after black people. This is a win for white people. All that. What are you talking about? What are you actually talking about? I don't think people are really thinking about that robustly, as I like to say, or thinking about it clearly, or really putting some, let me put my thinking cap on about this. I don't believe that's the case at all. I think they're just responding to what they believe is happening, what they've been told is happening, and are not asking better questions. Like even a um, a more robust question is, why was choosing people or hiring people or selecting applicants based upon race a good thing? Why was that a real thing that we needed in 2023? Because you see all the hand wringing, you see all the woe is me. And these people are acting like they're not going to be able to get educations because of this. They're not going to be able to get jobs because of this. Is that really what you want me to believe? Is that what you want me to believe? Matter of fact, I got one more. I did not plan on pulling this one up, so I got to go actually get it. I got one more because my good friend, and I'm using that term as tongue-in-cheek as possible, Mr. Jamar Tisby, he had some opinions on the matter. And I just think it is worth looking into because it doesn't make sense. All right, let's get this Mr. Tisby in here. First, I got to find it. Sorry about that, y'all. I did not intend to. But I was like, oh, yeah, I got that Jamar Tisby video. I don't know where it is. Okay, hold on one second. Because also, if you follow Jamar Tisby, he is like following the bouncing ball. Like he's always following a new trend. He's always following a new grift, if you will. And so now he's saying that now he's on this thing about education and the lack of education and not being able to get into Harvard is going to keep people, Black people, from succeeding, which I have no idea where do you get that from, except in the unregenerate places of his mind. However, I didn't make it a Dusty comment. I should have made it a Dusty comment. It's Dusty for sure. You know what I hate is that I can't find it. Oh, here it is right here. Got it. All right, it's just a few minutes long. Cool. All right, we're going to look at this and we're going to talk about Mr. Tisby. All right. Good old Jamar Tisby, Mr. Tetzel 2.0. If you ever talk to Jamar, tell him I do refer to him as Tetzel 2.0 because he believes that reparations for really anything, he is pro reparations at a crazy amount, so a crazy level. All right, here we go. And audio's tapped in. Let's go have some fun with Jamar. Let's go.
I'm incensed. I'm quite angry.
Wait, why is the audio not?
At this misguided, ignorant, unfounded decision. As a Black person who has come up through the ranks of education to attain a PhD, throughout my career, there's been a dearth of people of color in the classroom as well as teaching. And this.
Okay, I got to stop right there. So Jamar Tisby has a PhD. He is a doctor. He's a doctor, Jamar Tisby. But he is going on and making so much noise about how, with the affirmative action being overturned at Harvard, mind you, that there's going to be a dearth of Black teachers and people in the classroom. Just ask yourself, were Black people being educated before the Civil Rights Act of the 60s and affirmative action being put in place? Were Black people being educated at all? Okay, that's what I thought. Let's go. Jamar is just a complete and utter clown. But this is, again, what I'm talking about. If you're not going to take the time and respect your own self enough to look into the information and find out what actually is happening, don't get in front of a camera and just talk reckless. But let's let Jamar finish.
Decision, this majority opinion by the judges, will not help that. It will vastly curtail the opportunities of deserving people of color in education, which has always been billed as the great equalizer and the great creator of opportunity. So I'm quite upset.
Okay, so I want you to stop right there because I'm going to play it. There's another segment that's going to start where Jamar is saying that the great equalizer is education. Okay, the great equalizer for all people groups is to be educated. I don't know why education translates to college, though. Not everybody should be a college student. And we can talk about that and definitely make a lot of hay about the fact that I don't think everybody needs to go to college by any means. I think everybody should get some form of education, some form of trade education, trade training, and such like that. But you don't want your plumber to be a PhD. You don't want your auto mechanic to be an MBA. That's not what you want. Trust me. You don't want that. You don't want your lawnmower, your guy pushing your lawnmower to be a doctor. That's not what you're looking for. Trust me. But let us go.
I'm incensed. I'm quite angry. Work assignment is to study the racial wealth gap. There's a lot of things I could say, but
Yeah.
I think as far as if we could pull one lever
Here it comes.
to even out the playing field
One level.
and to address some historic inequities, it would be looking at wealth.
I thought it was just education. Just 10 seconds ago, it was education, Jamar. What is it, man? Tetzel, what is it? You just seem to be making up stuff.
I think we underestimate the positive effect of having adequate financial resources. We underestimate the power of writing a check. It seems too small, seems too little. It doesn't seem like a sacrifice. Well, I would argue that what we need to talk about is not just sort of donation.
Oh, by the way, Jamar Tisby loves talking about people writing checks. And you might have missed it when he said you think it's too small a thing to write a check. In a moment, he's going to clarify what he means by write a check. He loves to tell people to give money to him. He is the Kenneth Copeland, the Creflo Dollar of the critical race theory grift. Let us continue.
We need to talk about a transformative level of wealth reallocation. Transformative.
Yeah.
Which will take sacrifice. So you write a big enough check, it's going to be real hard to write on that piece of paper, right? So, but the point I'm making is broader than that. Fundamentally, people misunderstand racism as primarily an attitudinal issue.
Yeah.
How one person feels about another. The problem is white people not liking black people.
So what he's describing here is what I like to refer to as classical racism, the classical definition of racism. This is the definition probably before 2002. Let's just say 2000. That was a typical definition. You had hatred toward another people group, or you thought that people group was genetically or predisposed inferior to you. That's really it. That was the classical definition. He'll now give us his insight and wisdom on the other definition.
That's the least of our worries.
Yeah.
You know, the way you feel about me because of the color of my skin, whatever. But when that prejudice results in wealth hoarding.
So wealth hoarding now is a term because maybe you as a person that has worked hard to earn a little bit of money, you want to keep that money within your family. So you build a trust, or you put it in places so that your kids and your kids' kids can benefit from it. That's wealth hoarding, because you're supposed to just give that money away, according to Tetzel 2.0.
And opportunity hoarding. That affects my quality of life. That affects my flourishing.
Right.
My name's RJ.
How does me having money keep you from flourishing? How? These people right here, and again, I say that if you're not going to take the time and respect yourself enough to get understanding about how economics works, Dr. Tisby, be quiet. Just be quiet. I'm sorry that people keep putting a microphone in your mouth, but just say, hey, you know what? I'm not educated enough to speak on that. I don't talk about NASCAR because I don't know anything about it. I don't talk about raising giraffes because I have no clue what goes into the process of raising giraffes. I have no idea. So I don't speak about it. If somebody came to me and asked me to speak intelligently on giraffe raising husbandry, I'm going to say, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that one. Sorry. You want to ask, Farmer Bill or Giraffe Wrangler or something. I don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't talk about it. Jamar Tisby doesn't understand economics, and he keeps talking, and people keep asking him. So they're fooled for doing that too, but he just won't stop talking. Like, just stop. You don't know what you're talking about, Jamar. The same thing with AOC. She doesn't know what she's talking about the Supreme Court affirmative action case. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. It's okay. My mama used to say, it's okay to be quiet and a fool because nobody will know. But once you open your mouth, all doubts will be done away with. So just be quiet. It's perfectly okay. And Jamar Tisby right here is a perfect example. Just be quiet, my guy. Just be quiet. Be quiet. I know they keep asking you questions. Just be man enough to say, yeah, that's not my forte. That's not my strong suit. I'm gonna forego that. I'm gonna give that to a real economist, because I realize what I'm saying right here is that there's one pie, and that there's a limited number or a limited amount of slices of pie here in this pie, but that's not how the economy works at all, Jamar. I'm sorry that you believe that. I'm sorry that you were taught that in your academics. I don't know if that would have made better if there were Black people in the classroom. I don't know. But what you said right there, Jamar, was ignorant. That's it. What's going on? Edwin in the building. What's happening, brother? Grace and peace, man. Good to see you, friend. Wait. Yes, why does education equal college? Or why does college equal education? I don't know. Good to see you, Edwin. There we go. Sorry about that, friend. Good to see you. What's happening, James Irwin? Trade schools are great. I mean, trust me. I mean, it's funny that we're talking about all these advancements in technology. You're still going to need somebody to build those things. And now, granted, maybe they'll make robots build them. I don't know. But you're going to still need somebody to run the air conditioning. You're going to still need someone to resolve plumbing issues. Those are valuable, because y'all can be as smart as you want to be. But trust me, everybody's going to have to go to the restroom. Everybody is. And you're going to need somebody to take care of that. So I don't understand why we're treating some professions like they don't exist, or like the world's going to come to an end because somebody can't get into Harvard. Listen to what you're saying. The world is going to come to a screeching halt because Harvard is not going to let in enough Tyrones. They're letting in too many other people groups. Just think about what you're saying. Think about that. What's going on, Jarena? Friend, how are you? Grace and peace to you. Denise says you finally made it. Well, I'm glad that you did. Good to have you, friend. Good to have you. But again, we can sit here and talk all of this big talk all we want to. But you know what? We're going to still need people to take care of our shoes. I mean, I know that's not necessarily a high-end position, but shoe cobblers are a real thing, and we really do need them. You ain't throwing them all away and getting new ones. So even in that, like, there's still going to be very, for lack of a better term, blue-collar jobs, dirty fingernail jobs out there that we're going to still need. So stop treating it like the world needs Harvard graduates. No, the world needs educated people that are good. That's what the world needs. The world needs Christ to be exalted on every sphere of human existence, from the cradle to the grave. That's what the world needs. The world doesn't need Harvard graduates. The world doesn't need Morehouse graduates. The world does not need these great things. They're good, and it's great that we can have educated humans, but the world doesn't need them. What the world needs is good people. And the only thing that makes people good, or even puts people on the track of wanting to be good, is the gospel. That is it. Everything else is just secondary discussions. We can have discussions about it. We can debate over it, over coffee and tea all day long. But at the end of the day, the gospel has preeminence. Okay, great. You went to Harvard. Great. You're a law student. Great. You're a medical doctor. Great. You fly to the moon every day and twice on Sunday. That's perfect. But do you know Jesus Christ? That's the most important thing. All right. Did I miss anybody here? Man, I had to. Man, had I known, I would have gone into a different route. I wanted to take shop in high school, but didn't. I'm sorry, we didn't offer it. We need those trades now. If you know them, you can name your price. Amen. I mean, air conditioned people fix the world. Who runs the world? Air conditioned people. Um, for crying out loud, just think about it. There are companies that will come and repair your washing machine and dryer. Can you imagine if you didn't have your washer and dryer in your house, assuming that you have it? I know that's a first world problem, but can you imagine how miserable your life would be if you had to tote, 9, 6, 13 loads of clothes to the laundromat every couple of weeks? That would be crazy. That would be bananas. And the reason I brought that up is because I've had them come and repair my washing machine far more times than I want to admit. Because them girls will run the brakes off of that washing machine and that dryer. And you know what? I'm thankful for them, and I'm thankful for the appliance doctor that has come multiple times to repair my heating element in my dryer and my tumbler and my washing machine. Man, thank God for them. I don't know if those dudes are doctors. I hope they're not, because they didn't get paid like a doctor. But again, you see my point. So this notion that we have to have these high value jobs, because keep in mind, if you keep educating everybody, if you keep sending everybody to school, you're going to have doctors frying your French fries at McDonald's eventually. Now that's kind of, going far. That's kind of being bombastic, but am I really? Eventually, if you keep sending everybody to college, whether they deserve it or not, whether they need to go or not, you're going to end up having your Uber drivers are going to be doctors. What is that going to do to the economy? Because these people are going to need to get paid to match what their student loans are. They're going to need to get paid to match what their expectations were when they became a doctor. But they're driving an Uber, but they're frying French fries, but they're driving a pickup truck or whatever it is. There's going to be a problem. There's going to be a true economic problem there. Not everybody needs to go to college. Let's see. Doctors didn't always go to school, right? Or lawyers, right? They used to be apprenticeships, absolutely. And now it's pretty much the methodology, the path of success is to go to college and then, of course, residency and so forth. I think if we set people up for that experience, because then keep in mind, we're fighting with Harvard because you want your student to go to Harvard. That's $70,000 a year for 4 years. They're going to come out of there with $280,000 in student loan debt. To do what? To do what? What are you going to do fresh out of college? Let's say that you got some internships or whatever that nature. What are you going to do to make up almost a $300,000 student loan debt? But let's just be fair, Jason. They got some grants, they got some scholarships. Fine, they're $200,000 in debt. That is a house in some cities, some towns. So they come out of college with a house on their back. What are they going to do? What are they going to do in this current job market that we're in? What are they going to do? Y'all better start going back to trade schools. You better start looking at trade schools. I mean, those are real viable options. There's nothing wrong with it. Jarena says everybody is not made for university. Some are made for trade schools and so on. Absolutely. I mean, we've diminished blue collar jobs to the position that people look down on those. But who's going to turn the wrench on your Mercedes? Who's going to resolve your issues with your Lexus? It sure better not be Dr. Mechanic Man. You want a mechanic that can fix that, and you don't want to pay $600 an hour to get it resolved. But that's what you end up having. And you're going to be looking real some kind of way. It will not be our fault. It will be the fault that we've sent people to college that didn't need to go there. Now, there's still issues and concerns that we need to have and knuckle things out as it relates to college. I think college is too expensive. for what they're getting and what they're able to receive. I'm sorry, what they're able to find in the form of a job once they get out. That's a little bit much. It is a little bit much. But we can have that discussion and still remain civil. We don't have to act like everybody's got to go to college or the world's gonna come to a screeching halt. That's just dumb. And nobody believes that. You don't believe that because the world was moving along perfectly fine before college, before Harvard. It was going fine, perfectly fine. So therefore, it will continue to go perfectly fine if everybody does or doesn't. If some people do or they do not, go to college. Stop acting like that. You're smarter than that. Stop it. All right, what trouble I'm causing down here? A little family reunion going on. Absolutely. But that was just something I wanted to get off my chest. I saw that meme, and let me pull it back up. I don't know why I closed it out. Sorry about that. So this meme kind of got the whole party started. So they don't want our scholars, then don't send them our athletes. And my premise in my opening salvo was, how about we actually learn what's going on before we make memes? And again, I like a good meme. Hey, memes are fun. I totally get it. However, if you're going to make a meme, at least know what you're memeing about. Okay? I don't think this person actually thought about that because you don't actually understand. This was a Black person that posted it. So I'm assuming that they mean our, meaning Black students. And if they understood what was the actual case that brought about the Supreme Court decision last week, they'd realize that it actually wasn't about Black students. It's about Asian students and the actual abuse of affirmative action, because please keep in mind, this was going on during and while Harvard was excising affirmative action. So their understanding of affirmative action was all these shenanigans and hijinks as it relates to acceptance policies. So this is the outcropping of what? Affirmative action. So anyway, that was the meme. So that was what got everything started. And now, what's Denise saying right there? They need to study hard in high school. I agree. I mean, I see nothing wrong with having shop in high school again. I mean, I had it when I was in college. When I was in high school, I had it. Let's see. Yeah, so I just think that would be something beneficial and we should look into it. But even more than that, I want to encourage people to challenge when you're speaking with friends, tomorrow at your cookout, when you talk to somebody about that's woe is me, the world's come to the end because we don't have affirmative action, because we can't make decisions based upon race and ethnicity. Challenge that stuff. Challenge them. Don't let that go without being challenged. Ask them more questions pertaining to that. How do you come to that conclusion that the world is going to come to an end? How do you make that decision? How do you do that? Ask more questions. Challenge them to do that. I want to thank y'all so much. Everybody, thank you so much. I am thinking about doing, if you're one of my members on Buy Me a Coffee, I'm thinking about doing a Buy Me a Coffee special edition live this week. Talk about some of the things that Dear World Christian is doing off YouTube, so you can kind of know what's going on, so you know how to pray for Dear World Christian. So I will let you know. I'm thinking about doing that Thursday. And if I do, you'll be made aware. Everybody else, I want to thank you all so much for all of your support and encouragement. I do want to announce YouTube has figured themselves out and Dear World Christian is monetized again. Yay. All right. With that, I think they've figured out whatever it was that was banning me in the shadows, if you know what I mean. Apparently, they have resolved those two issues, and I'm seeing my views trending in the right direction. And I just got monetized this morning, so we'll see what that means. But I just want to point that out to y'all. Thank you so much for all of your encouragement. I've talked to several of you all offline and on YouTube as well. And I just want to say thank you for your encouragement. We'll see what happens. We'll see if this hopefully starts trending in the right direction so Dear World Christian can keep growing, because I'd love to see this channel grow more and have a little bit more opportunities to reach out to other people. So we'll talk about that probably this week as well. Like I said, I think I'm gonna do a live chat with the Buy Me a Coffee squad, and you'll see that in your emails. And if you want to join me, check me out on Buy Me a Coffee, and the link is in the bio as well as in the chat. I thank you all again for everything. Thank you, Q and Jarena. Thank you, Edwin and Denise, and others that have stopped by on this evening. I appreciate it. And hopefully, if you have some more questions, let me know down in the comment section. Feel free to hit me up down there. I will be making some more shorts, using shorts as the answer, or shorts as my way of responding. I just didn't do it the last couple of days since the Whitaker Talk Show just completely broke the algorithm for me. Everybody loved her shorts that she was doing, like, great. Now I gotta wait because nobody even knows who I am anymore. So I'll get back to it since she's not in town now. But you'll see those as well very soon. I want to thank you all. I really do appreciate everyone for your support. Thank you for your prayers and encouragement, checking out these lives and giving your insight and such like that. I really do appreciate it. And we're going to do this again. Wait, who? Going to watch your best buddy's new video that dropped. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I love Q. Text me Q because I don't know what you're talking about, but oh my gosh, I got something in my eye. I don't know what you're talking about, but I got a bad feeling it's gonna be something you're up to some no good. I know it. But thank you all so much for your support. Y'all pray for Kiana because she's doing the most. And I would love for Kiana to come by and tell us some of the things she's got going on. She and her family have some really cool things going on that they're doing out there in Alabama, but we'll talk about that another day, see if she ever wants to talk about what they're doing out there. But thank you all so much again. I've said it multiple times. I really do mean it. I really do appreciate y'all. Thank you. And until next time, everyone, grace and peace. Take care.